extremely late, singing my song about being so late.
To anybody.
All right, here we are, doggy. We are live, and now I will try to tell people. How can I do that? How can I get on the channel where I'm like, oh, let me pull this out here. Okay, we'll do that. And we'll do that. And that. It's over there. I do this part and do it there. And then do this part over here. And still no one's here. Let's go to YouTube. Let's go to my channel. I know, doggy. No one's here anyway. Oh, Ryan is here. Ryan! Hi, Ryan. Why am I typing? Hello, Ryan. I was about to type hello. I'm a little punchy, Ryan. I'm a little punchy. I am here for the live stream. I had gotten up very early this weekend, so forgive me if I not quite awake. Trying to drink as much caffeine as possible, though. Oh, that's good. That's good. What a weekend I had. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Joan is mad because we're not out for WALK. So there's that. So let me tell you about my weekend. So I did two shows. One was at Richland, New Jersey, Vintage and Toy Show. And that was very nice. Good weather. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. Yeah, well, this will be the Memorial Day live stream because I'm not going to do one tomorrow. Or maybe I will. I don't know. You know, it's the start of summer, the weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, the start of summer. And, of course, we remember the troops. That's my troop remembrance. To all who served, thanks for tuning in. So, Richland Vintage and Toy Show was nice. I was right next to a food truck. I had the most amazing breakfast. It was a pork roll quesadilla. It was delicious. Oh, fabulous. Cheese. It was delicious. It was just full of deliciousness. I couldn't believe how good it was. I was a little wary about it. I don't like to spend food while I'm working or spend money. Ugh. I don't like to spend money on food while I'm working because I'm trying to make money. And I'm notorious for spending way too much money on food at a comic book shop. But I was very hungry and I was right next to the food truck, so I had to get something. And that was well worth it. And then Ryan Citro. That's right. Remember the troops. Exactly. Exactly, Joan. Joan remembers the troops. Joan will salute now. There's Joan saluting. So then today, God shined upon me, and the first thing that happened, I was at the Flemington Summer Book Fest, and this is held in Flemington, New Jersey, at Act 2 Books. Shout out to them as well as the guys in Richland. So I was a guest on the front lawn at a book shop, and there was a bunch of other authors there, and one of them, a guy named Joe, suddenly goes, "Hey, I'm going for coffee. Does anybody want anything?" I said, "Yeah, get me an iced tea." And I said, "I'll give you some money." And he goes, "No, I'll get it." And so he buys me an iced tea with lemon. Oh, delicious lemon. And it was really good. It was a really good iced tea. Then later, a guy who runs a collectible shop. It's called, I want to say Groovy Vintage. Can't remember what it's called now, but his name's Eric. Nice guy. He went on a food run to the pizza place, and he got me a cheesesteak hoagie. And I went to give him money. He was like, "Don't worry about it." And I was like, "That's so nice." Later, he came by for some books, so I gave him some books. But trading some books for a cheesesteak, that's something I would do. Right, doggy? That's something I would do. I'd trade some books for some food. I think that's a fair trade. He got to read the thoughts in my head, that I put on paper, and I got to eat. And it was a delicious cheesesteak, by the way. You would have enjoyed it a great deal, Joan. You would have loved it. Joan, don't beg me for food because I cut up some nice pork for you last night and you only ate half of it. And the rest you left on your plate and it's just sitting there. And now it's too gross to eat. And that's on you, little dog. That's on you. So, I sold some books. So it was a decent weekend. And last week, I was kicked off of YouTube. I know you were probably very upset, Ryan. And I don't blame you. I was kicked off for a week because I got a strike. And I got a strike on a video that was 2 years and 10 months old. It's one of my political videos that I hadn't taken down because who the hell cares? Nobody even saw half my videos, or like a dozen people would see it. No one really cares about my political opinions from 3 years ago, YouTube. But they felt it was misinformation and had to be removed, and that I should get a strike and be penalized a week on YouTube. So that's where I was in YouTube jail. I still did all my videos, and I did a Rumble live stream. So next time, if you come here on a Sunday, you don't see me. I am on Rumble because Carter is here. Classic YouTube. So yeah, if you guys don't have a Rumble account, please think of me on Rumble as well. Right, Joan? And Joan was there too. Only Clint Miller showed up in the Rumble chat. Only Clint Miller. So he gets a special star in my heart for coming out, although he's not here yet. Oh, and the fierce, apathetic Black Queen is here. Haven't seen you in a while, Queen. Yo, as well. So we're back. We're back, baby. We're back on YouTube. Strike be damned. And we are going to do the live stream because we're going to talk about box office. Box office, doggy. Box office. All right. Let's get into it. You ready? You ready? Ugh, you're so filthy. Such a filthy dog. Let's start with number one, The Little Mermaid, premiering this weekend, the big Memorial Day weekend, at number one at 95.5 million, which probably isn't that good for The Little Mermaid. Worldwide, it's $163 million. That is not money yet. Not sure how much this cost. It's probably cost a lot more because of the music. They had to license some of the music from the previous movie. They re-recorded it, but they will make more money on the soundtrack because Halle Bailey, I think her name is Halle Bailey or whatever the hell her name is. Arden is here. Hail. But the movie itself, I don't think it's going to do well. I don't think the word of mouth is going to help this movie, and the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is a little sus, I would say, but it's Rotten Tomatoes. I think the whole site is sus. I don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. Not at all. Not since they gave Drag Me to Hell a 98%. 98%? Have you seen Drag Me to Hell? No offense to Sam Raimi, but Drag Me to Hell is not 98%. Ardent, I hope the little walleye. What? I hope the little wall-eye fails. Halle Berry. Oh, okay. I think I know what you mean because of her weird eyes and that still. I mean, it's basically at 163 million worldwide. Next week will be the big drop off, perhaps. So if this movie drops by, I don't know, let's say 66%, like Fast X did, that's not going to be a good sign. That's not a good sign at all. How is Fast X dropping by 2/3? 2/3. And It's in 42 more theaters, but it dropped by 2/3. That's not a good sign. Fast X. It's doing well worldwide at 399 million, but domestically only did 107 after 2 weeks. That's not good. That's less than The Little Mermaid. Ardent, she looks like a bass. Yes. She looks like someone squashed her face, like her face was made of clay, and someone pushed her from behind against a window, and it spread her face out just a little bit. And somebody shouted, "No, don't press her face. She's made of clay." And then it was too late. Ardent, I see Joan. Are you sure she's not doing to get you in trouble? Oh, she's not going to get you in trouble? Yeah, Joan will keep her spicy hot takes to herself this time. I'm out of YouTube jail. And next time, join me on the live stream on Sundays. If you don't see me here, I'm on Rumble. I can't tell you that I'm on Rumble unless I just go to Rumble or finally figure out how to do both Rumble and YouTube simultaneously like Sticks and Hammer does. There has to be a way to do it. Maybe I need to use StreamYard and get up off my wallet and pay for it. But one of these days. So check me on the live stream on Rumble if you don't see me here. Just a reminder. So yeah, Fast X, not good. That's a 66% drop. That's pretty bad for the Memorial Day holiday. I would expect that movie to do okay. Guardians did almost as well. Fast X only did 23 million. Guardians of the Galaxy, now in its 4th week, did almost 20 million. Just shy of 20 million in 500 less theaters this week. Fewer theaters than Fast X, and it made almost as much money. It's already clocked in at 731 million. I think this will probably cruise to just about 800 million. That's not bad. It's not a billion, but it's not bad. It's money. This movie cost, I'm going to guess, about 200 million, probably less. So 800 million would be fine. Not gangbusters for a Disney movie, but fine. Super Mario Brothers in its 8th week. Chris Pratt is a happy boy. He's got 2 of the top 5 movies in theaters right now. So, a happy boy. Ardent, we'll keep it in mind. Ask Bazik 1000. We were running Sultans on YouTube and Rumble simultaneously for a while before we went Bumble only. Oh. Yes, perhaps you can teach me the ways of Rumble and YouTube simulcast. Super Mario at $1.2 billion. So between Guardians and Super Mario Brothers, Chris Pratt is clocking in at about just $2 billion. Chris Pratt, his wholesome facade, or reputation, I'll say, is worth about $2 billion to the studios. I think Chris Pratt is going to keep working. Unlike certain other Hollywood celebs who aren't very wholesome. Number 5, and I'm very happy to see this, The Machine, because I want to see this movie. 4.9 million opening weekend. Now, this is a comedy, so it's probably not going to have much in the way of overseas appeal. Where could you show this? Probably the UK, probably Australia, maybe a handful of other Western countries. I don't know. I'd have to watch it, but it's not a universal theme. The problem is comedy doesn't translate. Ardent, good for Pratt, yeah. But I am a fan of this Bert Kirshner, I want to say his name is. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I like this stand-up bit, and it sounds very funny. I am annoyed with Mark Hamill, but I may overlook it to see the movie. I don't know. It did look very funny to me. Number 6, About My Father, from Lionsgate, 4.2 million. It's okay, but it's a bit low for a movie that stars Robert De Niro. But it's a comedy, and De Niro's comedies, not so good. But it's not really his comedy. It's really the stand-up comedian. I forget his name. Sebastian something. He's an Italian comic. So the movie's about his very Italian dad doing Italian things. It's probably going to be pretty funny to me because not only am I Italian, but my dad kind of vaguely resembles halfway between Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro. So probably it'd be, for me to see the movie, I'd probably laugh my A off because it'll probably be something like my dad in some of the scenes. But, again, it's another comedy. Ardent. So Ray Stevenson died, which sucks. I liked his Punisher. Yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of people have been dying out of nowhere, though. Hashtag died suddenly. There was a story about a 26-year-old woman who died at dinner with her parents. Just dropped dead. No, Ardent. Mariscalco? Yeah, that's him. I mean, his stand-up's decent. I don't know if it'll translate to the screen. Some of the scenes with De Niro looked okay. One of the scenes looked a little too much. Looked like they were really telegraphing the joke. But sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes stand-up translates and sometimes it doesn't to a movie. But would I go see it? Well, if I had to choose a movie to bring my dad, it would definitely be that movie. If my dad wanted to go to the movies, or we were sitting around going, I feel like doing something, but I don't know what to do. And I said, Dad, I think there's a movie you'll want to see. And then I'd take him to see this movie. He'd probably laugh his A off. Because I think he's a fan of the comedian. But 4.2 million, I mean, same thing with The Machine. I don't know how far it's going to go. It's an okay opening, I guess. Probably make some money, maybe. I don't know. It's just a drop from here. So, but it's only in about 2,400 theaters, both movies. So I think they should push it a little harder. I think they need more comedies, but it might have legs if it's funny. I think the Machine movie looks funnier than the About My Father movie, but oddly enough, they're both about dads. So the Machine is also about Kirshner's dad, played by Mark Hamill. So that's kind of interesting. 2 dad movies. I guess it is Father's Day coming up, so maybe that does make sense. Kandahar, 2.4 million. This is what's his face? Leonidas, Gerard Butler, as the guy with a gun. He's doing stuff in Afghanistan, I think. This one could open overseas. Not sure why they haven't done international yet. 2.4 million. It's a little low for a movie with a big budget. The comedies probably don't have super big budgets. They have okay budgets, not super big. Kandahar probably has a fairly decent budget. But they keep putting Gerard Butler in these action movies that cost a lot of money and don't seem all that interesting to me. 1 or 2 of them seemed okay, but You Have Hurt My Feelings from A24. This is Julia Louis-Dreyfus in a comedy sort of movie about relationships. I don't know. It didn't look that great in the trailer. Now, it's only opened at 1.3 million, but it's kind of an art house movie. 912 screens. It's kind of a big opening for an art house, but kind of a small opening as compared to one of the big studio flicks. It doesn't look that good to me. Julia Louis-Dreyfus can be very funny, but I think she's entering that phase where now she's going to try to do the I'm a comic, but I'm going to start to do sort of serious movies too, like her Woody Allen phase. You know how like Woody Allen was very, very funny in his early comedy movies and then slowly got more serious in time. It seems to happen to a lot of comedians. Steve Martin it even happened to. And I'll never understand that. But, comedy is a young man's game, though, and a young woman's game. So, it doesn't look great. Number 9, Evil Dead Rise. Still holding out at $1 million. How did this movie do? After $142 million? Maybe that's money. Only because Sam Raimi produced it, and he's tight with cash. And I mean that in a good way. He's comes from indie movies, and probably didn't have to overspend. He's not a guy... I mean, in Spider-Man 3, he spent too much money. He went too far, but normally I think he's very good on that. Book Club, The Next Chapter. Wow, this dropped from number 4 movie to 10. Big drop. Oh, right out of the theaters. Look at this. Went out of 2,174 theaters. Wow, they couldn't wait to get rid of this movie. But I think this movie has limited appeal. It just kind of just under $1 million. 22 million worldwide. Probably not money. But who the hell wanted to see a sequel to a movie about old women who read books? I don't know. I guess old women. Not so sure how that plays on Memorial Day weekend, but there you have it. John Wick Chapter 4. $500,000. I'm surprised this didn't do a little better. I'm surprised a movie like this wouldn't go up on a Memorial Day weekend. People go out to the movies and say, oh, I never saw the John Wick movie. Oh, it's still in theaters. It's only in 490 theaters, though. Guess what, John Wick fans? John Wick 5, Chapter 5. I think that might be a mistake, but it's coming. In development. Number 12, Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. A movie they made 20 years too late. Still in theaters, still not doing great. 20 million. Probably not money. Man, look at the international. Didn't even crack $500,000. That's bad. God. Yeah, this movie, 20 years ago, if you had made this movie, it probably would have done something. Now it's like, no, thank you. Nefarious, still sticking around. Still not making a lot of money. 5.2 mil. Ardent, be willing to bet Wick 4 will do well in home views. Yes. Yeah, I'd watch it. Blackberry from IFC. Still in a handful of theaters. I kind of wanted to see this movie. Only because Glenn Howerton is in it, and it did look funny. Almost no internet. 52,000 international box office. What did they show it in one theater? 16 mil. It's more of a. This is a movie like. It's just going to run on IFC, I think. Master Gardener. This flick looks good, but it's not doing well. God, it hasn't even made $500,000. Well, it's not out in a ton of theaters. It's the second week. It's only in 156 theaters, and that's down 69 theaters. Man, I think they needed to give this movie a little more of a chance. Here's 30 screens that don't need to have this movie on it. Ant-Man and the Wasp. 58,000. I mean, Jesus, Disney, give it up. It's in 30 theaters. Are you trying to punish people in those 30 theaters? Sanctuary. I forget what this is. Is this new? Oh, I think I vaguely remember what this is. $129,000? Jeez, it's in its second week. It's only in 10 theaters, though. Uh, doesn't seem to be doing well. The Starling Girl from Bleecker Street. This one, I don't know, $111,000? Bleecker Street, I don't know. I've seen they've produced a bunch of movies. I don't think most of them were for theaters, though. Sisu, a movie I still want to see, but I think I'm going to wait for VOD. It does look kick-ass. 9.9 million seems too low for a movie that looks so kick-ass. Chevalier, 3.4 mil. Another movie I said should have been top of the list on Woke Hollywood's blueprint for a movie about a character that, you know, he's woke, but he's not. I mean, he actually existed. He's not a made-up woke guy, but he's communist. He's Creole, but he's a genius, a musical genius. Joyland, $433,000. I don't know how these movies get on the list. Monica, $122,000. I think that's the movie about the trans woman who goes to see their mother, but the mother's losing her mind and doesn't recognize her. And Moon Garden, $15,000. It doesn't sound like it's doing well. It's only in 6 theaters, but geez, I forget what that's about. I think it's about, time to put it in more theaters. I mean, it's only in 6 friggin' theaters. Look at the imbalance here. How many places are probably showing The Little Mermaid on 2 screens? And you've got all these other movies, and they're just not getting enough play. So, seems unfair. Now, I can understand some of the movies getting double screens, like Fast X when it comes out. There's a big contingent of Fast and Furious fans. Guardians, there's a big Marvel stance. Super Mario Brothers, a huge hit. The Little Mermaid, to me, it doesn't have enough fans that you need an extra screen. Sorry, Joe. And it's just not like an event movie. It's just there. But maybe, I guess, because it opened. Joan, I can't pet you and do the live stream. I can't do that. Okay? There, I pet you. All right. You just get comfortable. Take a nap. Take a nap, you stinky, stinky dog. All right. Let's check in on the trades. Oh, what's the total here? The total is $161 million. I think that's up from last month. But again, it's all the top movies. Little Mermaid this time doing all the heavy lifting. All right. Little Mermaid is dominating the Memorial Day holiday box office, tracking a $118 million debut. I think that's a little low of what they initially predicted. I believe they predicted 125 mil or 130. But they're desperate to make this movie work. They want this to work, but what the hell did it cost to make? Probably we'll never know. Variety's Actors on Actors Season 18 returns with Jenna Ortega, Jennifer Coolidge, Pedro Pascal, Katherine Heigl, and more. Meh. Another famous actor died. George Maharis, Route 66, died at 94. Well, that was a good run. Gotta give him that. 94. It's not bad. Get to triple digits. I mean, that was close. a few actors died today. There's another one. I forget his name. James Woods, I think, tweeted about him. Oh, what else is going on here? The Little Mermaid makeup designer responds to offensive Ursula criticisms. Why can't I do a good job as a queer artist? What the hell are you talking about? I have no idea. They don't care. Andor costume designer breaks down the looks of Mon Mothma, Luthen Rael, and Imperial prisoners. Anybody want to see that? Oh boy, costumes, everybody. Costumes. Can you tell women are running Star Wars? Costumes, everybody. Costumes. Because that's what you care about. That's what the Star Wars fans care about. Ooh, I can't wait to see more costumes. All right, moving on to the Hollywood Reporter. Hollywood Reporter critics picked the 20 best films of Cannes. Okay. No one knows those movies yet. I bet one of them isn't Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I bet that's not on the list. Even though that was at Cannes. Mark Hamill talks to the machine, his Star Wars future, and joining Mike Flanagan's repertory company. There's a rumor that Hamill's going to be back for Star Wars in some capacity. But I'll believe it when I see it. Yep, here it is. Lionsgate confirms John Wick 5 in early development. All right, and that's about it for that. Deadline, otherwise known as Variety 2. Oh, here's some strike talk. I mean, I don't think I heard any headlines yesterday about the strike. No one cares about this damn strike. Oh, I think I did have one headline. I think the rumor was the other unions were going to join the strike, at least the DGA, but which could end it, and they probably should do it, but not so sure what the holdup is. Ardent, Luke Skywalker, Force Ghost. Yeah, probably going to be the case. In case you forgot how to watch TV, Deadline has an article how to watch the Succession series finale online and on TV amid HBO Max rebrand. So if you've forgotten how to watch TV, check out the article on Deadline. Before Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. was in talks for another Marvel film. Oh. I could see him being Doctor Strange. He'd probably be good for that. Who else? That's about it, really. He would not be good as Captain America. He's too old for that. Yeah, it would be Doctor Strange or Tony Stark. But so good as Tony Stark. I miss him as Tony Stark. They never should have killed this character off. Joe Biden on why he negotiated with Republicans on budget and debt ceiling deal. Can you think of an alternative? This is Deadline, the movie outlet, talking about how, Congress is negotiating the debt ceiling because that has an impact on movies, right? I mean, that's so important to Hollywood, isn't it? The debt ceiling, the most boring topic on history. By the way, it's a mess what happened, but I'm not going to get into it because YouTube will probably ban me for criticizing Democrats. By the way, I had a YouTube video deleted and I had the strike. And in both videos, they send you a link to the video at the exact moment where they say you broke TOS, the terms of service, and both times I was criticizing Democrats. It's like, okay, message received, YouTube. If you criticize the Democratic Party, apparently you'll be banned off of YouTube. That's what it seems to be to me. Not surprising. Not surprising. This was good news. Monty Python star John Cleese says the Life of Brian scene won't be cut despite modern sensitivities. And if you don't know the scene, there's a scene in the Life of Brian where Eric Idle suddenly turns to the group of characters he's with and says he wants to be a woman, he wants to have a baby, he wants to be called Loretta, and John Cleese's character turns to him and says, "You can't be a woman, you moron, you don't have a womb," and just basically chastises him for wanting to be a woman. And now, the rumor was they were going to cut the scene for modern sensibilities, but according to Cleese, he's not. So good. Good on Cleese. Ardent, good gods, I criticize the Democrats a lot. Yeah, they'll get to you eventually, Ardent. Arnold Schwarzenegger outlines the Bruce Willis legacy. Well, that's nice of him to do. Says Bruce Willis should be remembered for more than his films. Yeah, he liked to party. Willis should be thought of as a kind man. Yeah, he's got a good rep in that way. I heard that Willis took his entire graduating class from high school. He went to his reunion, and he literally took the entire class, I think, to the Bahamas or something. He paid for the whole thing. And then at some point they ended up in Atlantic City, and they were gambling, and he was walking around dropping like $5,000 on people's bets at various tables wherever they were, So you're playing blackjack, and you put up your $25 chip, and Bruce Willis walks up behind you. He used to sit behind you in class, and he drops like a $2,000 on top of your bet, and good luck to you. Ardent, Cleese cucking would have surprised me. Yes, I was very worried he was going to, because the response didn't happen right away, and then finally it did. So good on Cleese. Let's see. All right, that's about it for Deadline. Over at Bounding in the Comics, nothing much. Netflix The Witcher Season 3 confirm Jaskier is bisexual and will show him in a relationship with Prince Ravodid. Whoever that is. I don't watch the show. Ardent, I met Bruce Willis once. Nice guy to talk to. I was asking him about the cover of Devil Woman he did. Bruce Willis, for those of you who don't know, is a South Jersey guy. Yes, he is from South Jersey. He is from Pennsgrove. And a few years ago, the rumor was Willis was going to come back to Pennsgrove and buy this this entire beachfront area, and he was going to revive the waterfront there, but the deal fell through. He never did it. So that's a shame. But who knows? Who knows where his head was back then? I mean, unfortunately, he's got a degenerative condition. Quentin Tarantino shares his thoughts on what Eon Productions should do for their next James Bond films. I think they should remake the movies, but actually just do the books, which is basically what I said. I said they should take Bond and put him back in the Cold War, because that's where he belongs. That's where he always did the best. And, you could follow the books exactly then, and it'd be no problem. He could be an ex-OSI guy who now works for MI6, and he comes out of World War II, and he's fighting the bad guys in Spectre, who are really the Soviets, and it's all about the Cold War. I think it would be great. And then you could do smoking and drinking and womanizing, and you could tell everybody to go F themselves because it took place in the 60s, and who cares what people in the modern day think. But unfortunately, they've already woked up Bond pretty badly. I don't really think they can fix it any other way other than making it super based, taking place in the Cold War. But I think they might take that advice and then still try to make it progressive, which would be a disaster. But I mean, killing Bond off was already a big enough disaster at this point, so I don't know how much worse they can make it. Embracer Group says CEO says no further comments when asked for an update on Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake. That bodes well, doesn't it, Star Wars fans? That they won't no comment. Oh, okay. So you're gonna make this thing? No comment. Uh-huh. Ardent, I'd love to see a scene from WW2 with Bond meeting Mad Jack Churchill. I don't know if he ever did in the books. Maybe there was a flashback where he's like a young officer or something. But who knows? He was, I think Bond was, he was an aircraft carrier commander, I think. And they showed that in one of the movies. I think one of the Roger Moore movies. So, yeah, I would like to see Bond get back to basics. It's long overdue. It you know, even before things went woke with Pierce Bronson, I thought, you know, oh, Bronson, he'll be great in it. And he wasn't bad in the role, but the scripts they gave him, in my view, terrible. Some of the worst Bond scripts ever. Just went nowhere. I mean, compared to the last couple of Bond movies, I mean, I'm sure they're much better, but one of the problems was they couldn't do any kind of realistic terrorist or, you know, threat. They're so paranoid of offending any other country or culture, they just won't even do a real one. If you were going to do a real one now, I think the main threat would have to be from the Chinese. And good luck doing that, because then the movie studio would be like, oh, we can't make the Chinese look bad. They'll never distribute our movies. So that's bad, in my view. I think the Chinese would be the perfect foil. They'd be a perfect, you know, modern substitute for the Soviet Union. But I don't think you'll ever see it. Speaking of Chinese state media, they warned Disney to stop pushing racism narrative around their fairy tales, or they will lose their, quote, magic glory. So, I don't know what you make of this, but the CCP pretending to be based and saying, oh, don't make it about race. I think it's BS, because the Chinese seem to do that at every opportunity. And they're, you know, which is doubly hypocritical, because they are extremely racist in the CCP, because they have banned certain races from their malls in China. So I think this is a total psyop on behalf of the communists. They're doing that to Disney, so because the Chinese government has such a bad rep in this area, anybody who sides with, you know, hey, Disney, stop making race a big deal. Oh, you side with the communists now. So I think it's sort of a double, you know, I think it's like a little bit of psychological warfare. The Flash starring Ezra Miller predicted to have an anemic $70 million opening weekend. Ardent asked the Chinese about the posters for Black Panther and The Force Awakens. LOL, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Um, let's see what else we got. Let's drop in on cosmic book news. This was like such a non-news story, but this was a list of potential directors for Secret Wars. Sam Raimi, Ryan Coogler, and John Watts. I mean, at this point, what difference does it make who's the director? Is anybody going to see second string Avengers? Who are your big hitters here? Spider-Man. Okay, if Spider-Man's in it, I think people will just see it. But if Spider-Man's not in it, who's after that? Who's the next big character in the run here? Doctor Strange. And his second movie didn't do too well. Ardent, good. F. Ezra Miller. That's what I say. I think Warner Brothers made a terrible mistake keeping Ezra Miller. Again, I think they could have deep faked him completely out of the movie, paid him, whatever. They wouldn't have had to reshoot anything. They just would have dropped somebody's face on his face. Would have looked fine. I think. The deep fake technology is pretty good now. There's guys doing it online. If you did it for real in a movie studio, it would look amazing. It'd be seamless. I think the perfect replacement to nullify any chance of Ezra Miller saying, "Oh, these guys are a bunch of racists," you get what's her face, Elliot Smith, or Elliot Page as the Flash. I know, but Elliot would be. I think you throw Elliot's face on Ezra's body, and it would look fine, because Ezra's face and Elliot's face would be close enough that it would look similar enough you barely know the difference. And, look, Elliot's not a bad actor. So I think it would have been fine. And you still would have had to pay Ezra, and you would have had to pay Elliot, but you would have negated any chance of Ezra playing a card and saying, you fired me because I was whatever he is. I don't know. He said he was something. And then you could be praised for your ESG casting, and you could end the movie with Elliot out of the movie. You end the movie with the Flash, I don't know, either dying or being transformed into the actual Flash from the CW or something, and you just start the whole thing over. Ardent, LOL, it's a bit of a 4D chess using Page. I know, but I think it would have worked. Worst case scenario, you use the guy from the CW. Throw his face up there. Just pretend like it was him the whole time. And just don't even acknowledge it. And F. Ezra Miller. Or you reshoot the whole damn thing. But I don't think they wanted to do that. Another way you could have done it is you could have started the movie, because the whole point of the movie is the Flash goes back in time and he changes history. So from that point, the moment the Flash changes history, then you put in the new guy. And it changed history, it changed him. And he looks in the mirror and he's like, oh my God, I changed. And now he's a different guy. And then you never mention it again. But Secret Wars, Avengers Secret Wars, look at this lineup. Doctor Strange is your heavy hitter without Spider-Man. Black Captain America, okay, he's there. I don't think he's going to be a huge draw, but he'll be okay. He's not Captain America, though. He is, but he isn't. Ant-Man and the Wasp, you might as well just take them right out of the running. They're done. Although, again, I like the Paul Rudd character, and I really wanted to see that movie, but they're done now. Just let them go. Female Black Panther, maybe you throw her in, but I don't know what you're going to do with her. And Captain Marvel, are you kidding me? Captain Marvel's a dumpster fire, most likely. Captain Marvel 2 is going to be a wreck, or the Marvels, whatever it is. Ardent, how do they have Black Panther? Well, it's his sister. It's Letitia James, Black Panther, I assume. So, but you know, I don't think there's much you can do. They've painted themselves into the same corner the comics did. This is what drives me nuts. The comic books did the same thing. They replaced their A team. They put a bunch of second stringers in the Avengers, and then nobody read the damn comic. And then they went, why isn't anybody reading the adventures of Hercules, Tigra, Black Knight, War Machine, and Wonder Man? Because nobody wants to see those guys in a team. Like, maybe one of them you could throw in the substitute, but like Hercules. Hercules in the Marvel Universe is a second string Thor at best. He's just not a major character in the Marvel Universe. He's there, but he doesn't even have much of a personality other than he's the backup Thor. That's it. Black Knight hasn't even been introduced yet. I don't even know if you should introduce him, but maybe. Tigra hasn't been introduced yet. War Machine, Don Cheadle. Sorry, they should have stuck with Terrence Howard. Rhodey is... Don Cheadle's just not Rhodey. He's a military guy. He's tougher than that. Don Cheadle is way too soft. They should have given him a different character, maybe. I don't know. But, I mean, the only character in this lineup other than Spider-Man is Doctor Strange. And I don't even think Spider-Man's going to be in the next Avengers movie, but I guess maybe they'll drag him in there. Because Sony's not going to give up Spider-Man anytime soon, so... but, you know, you just don't have the lineup here. You don't have the Hulk. You could have the Hulk. You could have the Hulk. But they're not going to throw in the Hulk because there's all sorts of rights problems with the Hulk. Ardent, comics Hercules is a complete doofus. Yeah. It's just not interesting. And DC has one, I think, and he's barely... Yeah, he's not interesting either. So, this whole Secret Wars, it's just pointless. This is totally pointless. Unless you bring back the real characters. Maybe you get back Hemsworth. Maybe. After the embarrassing last movie, I don't see how you get him back, but maybe you get him back. You should have never gotten rid of Robert Downey. But too late. That ship has sailed. You should definitely just put the Hulk in, even though you don't totally get the rights, but you have to split the money a little bit, but who cares? Black Widow, you ruined her. You can always bring back Hawkeye, I guess. I mean, Jeremy Renner's good. The character's not so great. And then you'd have at least some of the characters. I don't know. This just sounds pointless. Just sounds pointless. Elizabeth Olsen says actors shouldn't sign extended Marvel contracts, says the woman who totally effed up the MCU. It wasn't her decision, but still, though. She is the face of it. I mean, you know, they ruined her character. And this is a female character of strength. You'd think they'd want to keep her around. In good comic news, James Gunn is apparently considering Brainiac for the villain, which will be interesting. Because they don't really use him much. And he's kind of a good villain for Superman. So, could be fun. All right. What else do I want to talk about today? God, I'm so punchy. I haven't had enough caffeine and I ran out of caffeine. Oh, gosh. Oh, guess that was it. Let's go to the IMDb. Let's search Memorial Day movies. See if there's a list. No. Let's military movies for the troops. See if we got a good list. No. Let me look under genres. Military's not. Oh, war. There we go. Okay. So let's look at the top 50 war movies sorted by popularity. Okay. Ardent. Brainiac shows up in the animated DC stuff a lot, usually decent. Yeah, he's not a bad character. Superman doesn't have a deep bench of rogues. It's Lex Luthor, Brainiac, Darkseid, although he's not really a Superman villain, and like a handful of others. There's Mr. Mxyzptlk, which they'll never use him. There's the Parasite, who isn't bad, but kind of a lame character still. Not a lot of great Superman villains. All right, top 50 war movies sorted by popularity. Number 1 is Covenant, which just came out. That did look good. 7.6. Mr. Mxyzptlk, yes. But again, he's not a good villain to do because he has to be. There's too much explanation and it's convoluted. He's more of a TV villain. It's not a good villain for like a movie. Maybe as a side villain, like the opening scene is him beating Mr. Mxyzptlk, and then he moves on to the actual villain he has to fight. He's kind of a goofy character. Sisu is number 2? Wow. This can't be right. This list can't be right. No, it's not. It's not in the proper order. Let's see. User rating. That's what I wanted on. There we go. War films sorted by user rating. Okay, so number 1 is Yaz. I don't know what that is. Ardent, LOL is trying to remember how to spell it when you said it. Yeah. It's very tough. What the hell is Yaz? Film narrates real-time, non-linear fashion 3 interwoven stories of 6 main characters that are torn apart by a looming Lacan Elam war. Well, that is definitely a movie that's in a foreign country, so I have no idea what they're talking about or what war. Number 2 is The Real Emperor Kendani Manswrath. It's a biological film about war, uprising people and rebellions. What are these movies? These are the top war movies? I don't know these movies. Jaban Thik Naya, a political satire of Bangladesh. Look, IMDb. Either you're the IMDb list of the world or you're the IMDb list of Hollywood. I'd like to sort out the foreign movies, but don't think there's a function. All right. Number 4, Washington's Armor. Follows the trajectory of George Washington as a boy and a young man as he develops his relationships and ideas. Never heard of this movie. This is supposed to be a war. These are supposed to be war movies. What's wrong with IMDb? I don't know, but these are very highly rated movies. These are the user ratings. The Huton Fortress bacteria No idea what that is. A Chinese movie I can't even pronounce. Number 7, The Battle of Bingham Corrigan. Don't know what that's about. It's another war movie. They got very high ratings, though. They're all over 9. Another foreign movie. Number 9, Portugal something. Another foreign movie. Another foreign movie. Finding Purpose, The Road to Redemption. Okay, this one is the United States. The story of John Cahill, a U.S. Army veteran in the Bosnian War who's trying to overcome the effects of PTSD he suffered. Okay. Sonogram. Don't know what that is. Les Infantas du Diable. It doesn't sound like a war movie. Maybe try AFI's top war flicks. All right, let's try that. Wait a minute. Excuse me, I missed it. There we go. Oh. This is according to Barnes & Noble. I guess these are the best-selling ones. Well, that seems valid. Sort by bestsellers, newest to oldest, A to Z, price high to low. Well, let's go by bestsellers. We'll do the top bestsellers of war movies. Number 1 is Deer Hunter. Okay. Now I know. Now that's a movie I know. Number 2 is Bridge Over River Kwai. Okay, another good movie. Number 3 is Dr. Strangelove, or How I Stopped Loving the Bomb. Peter Sellers, another great movie. Number 4 is MASH, the original movie, not the TV show. Another great movie. And number 5 is Apocalypse Now. Ooh, I love that. I love Apocalypse Now. I love the making of Apocalypse Now, and I don't like making of things at all. Number 6 is Platoon. Platoon's okay. Not a huge fan of Platoon. It's all right. And that's it. That's it. It's at 6. It says it shows 20, but no, they just have 6. That's all the war movies in Barnes & Noble, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Well, that's that. Ardent. Deer Hunter, River Kwai. Now we're talking. Exactly. Dr. Strangelove was amazing. It was. Let's see. Top war movies of all time. Let's try that. Dare I click on Rotten Tomatoes? I guess. This is always a nightmare. This I can already tell this is just going to annoy me. The top 100 best war movies of all time. Number 1, Grave of the Fireflies, an animated cartoon. Come on. Number 2, A Man Escaped. This is about a French resistance fighter. Don't remember this movie. Number 3, Casablanca. Well, Casablanca, if it's I really don't consider that a war movie. I mean, it takes place wartime, I guess, but if you're going to put Casablanca on a list of films, put it as number 1 or don't put it on there at all. Battle of Algiers. Now that sounds like a war movie. Henry V? Technically true. Usually when you think war movies, though, you don't think war medieval times. You think war gun times. Not medieval time, but gun time. Number... I heard it. An effing anime. Yeah, I know. That's the number 1 movie on Rotten Tomatoes. It's Rotten Tomatoes, so that's the problem. There's your problem. Number 6 is Schindler's List. Technically, yes. I mean, but it's not a movie of... It's about suffering. Certainly, it's about. I mean, it's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. I like Schindler's List. It's a good movie. I. It doesn't. Is it a war movie though? Feels like it's in a different class, right? It's not about the war. It's about other stuff within the war. I don't know. Apocalypse Now. That's a war movie. It's a war movie. It's got soldiers in it fighting the war. Like, if it doesn't have that, to me, it's not a war movie. But Schindler's List isn't even a war movie. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not. It's technically a war movie, I guess, if you stretch the definition. Doctor Strangelove. All Quiet on the Western Front from 1930. And the most recent version of this was very good. I saw that one on Netflix. Das Boot. That's a war movie. Number 10. The Hurt Locker. Well, I don't think it's great. I don't think it should be 11 on the top 100 war movies of all time. It is a war movie, at least. Best Years of Our Lives. Man, yeah, it is. It's about veterans. It's not about war. Army in the Shadows. Don't remember this. Grand Illusion. Yes. Son of Saul. Don't remember this. Waltz with Bashir. Don't remember this. 71. Don't know that. Heartbreak Ridge. Yeah, I don't see. There's Bridge Over the River Kwai. 18. Ran. Paths of Glory. Yeah. To be or not to be? No. Why is. What? Okay, I'm done with this list. Enemy at the Gates. Yeah, I mean, you're naming war movies. It's like these people aren't quite sure what a war movie is, and they're just. It's like they got pressured to make the list late at night and said, okay, here's some movies. Schindler's List. Well, that's not technically a war movie. Put it on there. Well, here's IMDb again, the 25 greatest war movies of all time. We Were Soldiers, says Stormy. It's another one. All right, let's see. This is the 25 greatest war movies of all time, according to the IMDb. Number 1, Apocalypse Now. I would agree with that. It's number 2, Schindler's List. Again, I don't think it's really a war movie. Number 3, Bridge Over the River Kwai. Yes. Number 4, Lawrence of Arabia. Okay. Number 5, Saving Private Ryan. Okay. Tora, says Ardent. That's another one. Full Metal Jacket, number 6. Patton. Excellent movie. Number 7. Number 8, Platoon. Meh. It's alright. Das Boot. Paths of Glory. Braveheart. Again, yes, technically a war movie. It is about war. The Great Escape. That is definitely a war movie. The Pianist. I guess. No, that doesn't. Is that a war movie? I don't remember this movie. Ardent. Lawrence of Arabia is one of my favorites. Yep. It's epic. Letters to Iwo Jima. Oh, that's a good movie. Ardent. Fury. All Quiet on the Western Front. The Deer Hunter. Inglourious Bastards. Yes, it's a war movie. I don't think it deserves to be in the top 20 of all time. The Dirty Dozen. From Here to Eternity. Okay, yeah. Stalag 17, yeah. Sergeant York, yeah. The Longest Day. Yes, definitely a war movie. The Thin Red Line. Don't remember that. Here it is, Hacksaw Ridge. There you go. And The Hurt Locker. Damn it! Why do you keep putting The Hurt Locker? Just because it won some Oscars. I think they were undeserved. I don't think that. I think The Hurt Locker is totally overrated. Totally overrated. It's okay. I don't think it's great. I think it's. I definitely don't think it should have been nominated for that many Oscars. But, you know, Hollywood, they're just so happy a woman directed something that wasn't terrible. So they gave her a bunch of awards. It's not a terrible movie. It's just not great. It's good. I wouldn't call it great. Goes on a little too long. It's just Hollywood. It makes me mad. Ardent, the Big Red One, Mark Hamill's first movie. That was his first movie? Was it? Let's go to the IMDb. We're already here. Mark Hamill. Was it his first movie ever? Let's see. Going back in time as we scroll down the list. Catch 22, another good movie. Okay. Mark Hamill's Ardent, or wait. Mark Hamill's first appearance. Ardent, Bat 321. His first appearance was in General Hospital in 1963. This is Mark Hamill. These are TV series. Then Headmaster, The Bill Cosby Show, The Partridge Family. Wow, he was in The Partridge Family? I used to watch The Partridge Family. Cannon, I watched that one. Night Gallery, watched that. The FBI, Room 222. I watched all these shows. They're all terrible. Owen Marshall, Counselor at Law. The new Scooby-Doo movies. He was additional voices. The Magician. I remember that one with Bill Bixby, or no? I guess it was someone else. No, that was Bill Bixby, I think. It was The Magician. Genie, Insight, The Manhunter, Sarah T. Portrait of a Teenage Alcoholic, Lucas Tanner, Delancey Street, The Crisis Within, The Texas Wheelers. These are all TV shows. Bronk, Eric, Petrocelli, Medical Center, Mallory, Circumstances, Evidence. Wow, he was in a lot of shows. One Day at a Time? Mark Hamill was on One Day at a Time in 1976? That's crazy. The City, Wizards. Oh. Was that Bakshi's thing? Yeah, he was in Wizards. I had no idea. Oh, damn it, come on. According to this, The Streets of San Francisco, 8 is Enough he was on. I watched both those shows. According to this, his first movie role is Star Wars. Then he was in Corvette Summer. Oh, he's on Fred Flintstone and Friends? Wow. Corvette Summer. I remember that movie. That came out after Star Wars. Then he was in the Star Wars Holiday Special. The Story of the Faithful Wookiee. Some sort of short. Then Big Red One in 1980. So he was in it after Star Wars. Ardent, I thought the Big Red One was before Star Wars. Nope. Apparently it was 1980. It's 3 years after. And then the same year, he was in The Empire Strikes Back. Interesting. Then he was in The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. Sort of vaguely remember that movie. Then he wasn't in a movie until Return of the Jedi. Ardent, so close, yes. Then he went back to television He was in Amazing Stories. Alfred Hitchcock Presents. And he was in something called Slipstream in 1989. He was a producer for Hooperman. Ardent curse you, chronological fact. He was in something called Midnight Ride. And then a TV movie called Earth Angel. The Guyver. Wow, a lot of terrible, forgettable movies. Black Magic Woman. The Flash. Oh, I remember that. And then 1991, he was the trickster on The Flash. And went back to TV. And he was doing more cartoon voices. He always did cartoon voices. That's funny. Oh, and then he was in Time Runner. I remember Time Runner. Or no, I'm thinking of a different movie. No, I'm thinking of the other Time movie. Oh God, it wasn't called Time Runner. It was like the guy on the motorcycle. Slipstream was a time-traveling bounty hunter story, says Ardent. It was. Well, that sounds like something right up my alley. In the near future, where Earth has been devastated by man's pollution and giant winds rule the planet, bounty hunter Matt kidnaps a murderer out of the hands of two police officers planning to get the bounty himself. Okay. It's in a lot of terrible movies, I'll tell you that. Body Bags. Bunch of TV cartoons. Eventually he was in Batman. They don't list the TV show here, but they list Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Why don't they list the TV show? It's weird. Then it's all TV, and then once in a while he shows up in a movie. Oh, here it is, Batman the Animated Series. Garfield and Friends. Village of the Damned. The Adventures of Batman and Robin. The Joker, voice, uncredited. Oh, cool. This was a video game. Well, that's kind of cool. Wonder why he was uncredited. The Ren and Stimpy Show. Cool. Phantom 2040. Oh, that was a decent cartoon. Seems to do well in the cartoons. Lots of cartoons, my God. It's just cartoon voice after cartoon voice. Pinky and the Brain. Jimmy Joe Jr. The Blues Brothers animated series? Dear God, whose idea was that? Holy S, biker mice from Mars. Oh, was that? I skipped that one, I guess. Ardent, I love biker mice from Mars for the concept. I didn't really watch it. Oh, he was on The Tick. Now that's my show. The Tick cartoon. Love that. He was only on one episode, though. Cow and Chicken. I remember that. Gen 13. He did a voice on that. I guess there was a cartoon. I Am Weasel. I remember that. Men in Black, the series. There was a TV series for Men in Black. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Oh, here he is on The Simpsons. Classic episode on The Simpsons. Oh, man. Ardent Spoon. the classic Simpsons episode. Luke be a Jedi tonight. Arnett, yeah, I like the tech. Yeah, it was good. Good show. He was back on the new Batman adventures. Man, we haven't even gotten into the 2000s yet. Look at all the credits he has. Oh, he was on Mad TV. I don't remember that. He was on Powerpuff Girls. Man, he was in a lot of stuff. He just loves working. Samurai Jack. Keeps going back to do the Joker voice, though. That's cool. Various video games. Lots of cartoons, though. Jeez, he's got so many credits. Family Guy. Johnny Bravo. Call of Duty. Oh, there's Biker Mice from Mars right there in 2006. Bunch of stuff I've never heard of. Regular Show. Afro Samurai. Happy Tree Friends. My God. How many checks? He needs a guy just to count up all the checks he's got coming in. My God, all the royalties he must be getting. He can't. There's no way you can keep track of all these. You'd need a guy whose only job would be to like, oh, has Mark been paid for that cartoon in 4 years? Star Wars, The Clone Wars. That's weird. He was in that. He was Darth Bane, whoever that was. Oh, he was on Metalocalypse. Mr. Celsia, Senator Stampingston. I don't remember those characters. But I remember that show. That's a good show. Man, so many. All right, finally we're into the 2010s here. Uncle Grandpa, he was in that. Jeez. Lots of Batman stuff. Always doing the Joker. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Here's a movie, Con Man, starring Robert Minkow. Don't know that show, or don't know that movie. The Big Bang Theory, as himself. He's so famous and so prolific, he gets to play himself on things, and he gets to do voices, and he gets to be in other stuff. JEC needs a guy who counts up all the money he gets. You mean an accountant? No, more than an accountant. He needs a guy that his job, he'd have to have a big spreadsheet of everything he's ever been in and the last time he's been paid on royalties, and he'd have to go back and check, because the way you get paid on royalties on TV, it's every market that you're in, right? So here, this is the Venture Brothers from 2018. He did a voice. They don't really show that on regular TV, but let's say they did. Every time that, like, for instance, if you show it in the New York market and it's syndicated, you get paid the first time it showed, and then you get paid 10 more times just in New York, then in Los Angeles, then in Chicago, then in Philadelphia, and all the major cities, all the major markets. Each time he gets that money. So that's 10 times for everything he ever did on TV in every single market that's worth a damn. And that's a lot of markets. And that doesn't count the overseas market. So you would need a spreadsheet probably for everything he ever did. And you'd have to keep track of not only every time he'd been paid, but which project he'd been paid on for which time it had been shown in which market. Because you might find out that they are showing reruns of Batman the Animated Series in, let's say, I don't know, Sheboygan. And Mark Hamill hasn't been paid. And it's the 5th time they've shown it, and they've only paid him for the first 2 times. You need more than just an accountant. You need a guy who specializes in these things and has the ability to track all this stuff. You're not just tracking money, you're tracking the shows that he's been on. The studio will just pay it because they can't keep track of it either, I think. In a lot of cases. And then when they don't pay you and then refuse to pay you for some reason, then you got to take them to court. That's another whole thing. But all right, so here we are in the modern day. Last few years, Child's Play VR. He was the voice of Chucky. American Dad. He's the voice of Chucky on Child's Play from 2019. So that was the remake of it? Yeah, I think that was the remake. She looks like Aubrey Plaza. It's not her. All right, so let's get to the most recent one. So these days he's doing the voice for Invincible, Albert in The Machine, which I do want to see. He's doing a voice in Sandman, Kids in the Hall. He did a bit. The Book of Boba Fett. Oh, all right. They used him. They used Luke Skywalker. I forgot. Oh, and he's doing Skeletor in that Masters of the Universe series. I think that's the one Kevin Smith screwed up. Yeah. The Mandalorian. That was the same thing. The Last Kids on Earth. Elena Alvilor. God. Friggin' prolific. I don't know, though. I do want to see The Machine. I'll probably go see it, but... Anyhow, it's 10:30, so I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm so fried from this weekend, getting up early, and I have to do my other videos. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. So final thoughts. Don't forget, if I'm not here on a Sunday, or not on YouTube, and you don't see my YouTube updating, please find me on Rumble, Bitchute, and Odysee, because it's inevitable I will be canceled off of YouTube, I believe. Aren't it? Yeah, the one Kevin Smith's crying over, so that doesn't really narrow it down anymore. Well, yeah, it's. I think it's the current day horrible. What's the name? He-Man. Yeah, He-Man. So tired, so tired. But yeah, so. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, we'll be back. I'll be back with more videos this week, unless YouTube is a-hole. And we will look at the trailers, and we will analyze them and see if they're worth a damn. We'll be back next week. What's next week? Next Sunday. Ooh, it's a free Sunday for me. So I got nothing going on. So next Sunday, I'll be back at 7. Right here on YouTube, even though they're a-hole, because I have no choice. I have no choice. It's the only way to make money on the YouTube streams until Rumble gets big enough. I'm doing okay on Rumble, I guess. I'm at 444 subscribers on Rumble. I'm at 429 on Bitchute, and I haven't been on Odysee that long. I think I only have about 30 subscribers on there. But someday I'll get over 1,000 on Rumble, and then I guess I'll get more money. I mean, I'm making a little money now on Rumble, but I don't think there's any way to collect it. This is like 2s of cents. But I'm finally making a little bit of money on YouTube, but yeah, really just destroyed my momentum this week. And I had really good momentum for the last 2 weeks, and that's why I think they They wanted to stomp on the brakes. Because they are afraid of me, and they're especially afraid of Little Joan. So that's it for me. Tony D. And Little Joan, who's probably out on the couch. Thanks for tuning in. Ardent says, '07. I don't know what that means. '07 to you too, my friend. So we'll see you in the next one.